Real estate investors, whether you are just starting out on one property or have multiple properties, there are some tax strategies that you absolutely need to know. In this video, I am going to break down for you the tax strategies that you need to know so that you can defer tax, reduce tax, and minimize your tax. But before we jump in, I want you to like, comment, and subscribe because we can't afford to miss out on any of this wealth building information. Now, let's get after it. Depreciation is a real estate investor's best friend, and it is one of the things in the tax code that the wealthy people use, allowing you to depreciate or write off the cost of your building over 27 and a half years if it's residential rental or 39 years if it's commercial. One thing that you might want to consider doing is using a cost segregation study in order to break down the components of your real estate into a shorter life, meaning instead of it being 27 and a half years, maybe the depreciation goes over 5 years or 7 years, or maybe you're eligible to write it off all in 1 year. Trump is talking right now about allowing more bonus depreciation.
We will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025.
So stay tuned because you may be getting a bonus write-off. As an example, if you have a piece of real estate where the building value is worth $300,000 and you write it off over 27 and a half years, that write-off is going to be somewhere north of $10,000 per year for the next 27 and a half years. However, if you embark on a cost segregation study, which is in the code where IRS allows you to look at all the components of your building, as an example, not just the framing of the building, but you can look at the plumbing, you can look at the electrical, the windows, the doorknobs, and you can say, okay, these items aren't gonna last as long as the actual building itself. So instead of having to write it off over 27 and a half years, you will get to write off a portion over 5 years. Therefore, instead of just having that $10,000 depreciation, you will be able to have more depreciation upfront and quicker. For example, your windows that may be worth $50,000 may be written off over 5 years, giving you an additional $10,000 per year. So looking into a cost segregation study is a #1 strategy that you should be using as a real estate investor. Use 1031 exchanges to defer capital gains taxes. 1031 comes from tax code section 1031. And basically what it says is that if you have an investment property and you're gonna sell it for equal or greater value, you can defer the gain into the new property. Allow me to give an example. If you have a $400,000 gain and you're in a 20% tax bracket for federal purposes, you would be taxed on that gain at $80,000 if you were taxed at 20%. However, if you sell that property and exchange it for another property and put all the proceeds into the new property, you will not be taxed on the gain immediately. You will be able to defer the gain. That is why you see so many real estate investors selling and buying, selling and buying. Now, I want to make sure you realize there are some very strict rules around doing a 1031 exchange. And the first rule is yourself, the seller, cannot take possession of the proceeds from the sale of the first property. It's so important that you use an accommodator or an exchange company to help you with the transaction. But you can sell your real estate, get another piece of real estate, and defer, defer, defer. Pro tip, there are a lot of rules when it comes to 1031 exchanges. For example, you have to identify the property that you're going to buy within 45 days and close the whole transaction in 180 days. So make certain you work with a professional that understands all the guidelines so that you can avoid paying tax. Invest in opportunity zones. This is such an underutilized strategy for real estate investors. Opportunity zones are areas that the government have designated as an opportunity for investors to come in, invest in those areas, and get great tax incentives. Some of the incentives range from being able to sell the property tax-free after a certain period of time to being able to accelerate the depreciation on the property. That's why it's so important that when you're going out and buying investment property, that you get with an advisor that understands all the different tax implications of purchasing in a particular area. And the tax implications aren't always you have to pay tax. Some of the tax implications are strategies. Invest in an opportunity zone. Use different incentives when you're purchasing properties. Opportunity zones can be your best friend when you are investing in property. If you're looking for opportunity zones, I would Google opportunity zones and try to find them. You could probably chat GPT it. But if you're working with a seasoned tax professional, when you're thinking about buying property and you're working with them on your plan, they should be able to tell you what tax incentives are in the area and know what areas have tax incentives. That's why it's so important to work with experienced professionals so that you don't miss out on any of your benefits while you are trying to grow wealth. Deduct operating and maintenance expenses. When you are purchasing investment property, that is like owning a business. That business may be passive or active, or what I like to call pactive. Either way, make certain that you are tracking your expenses and you deduct your operating expenses. Operating expenses include things like the utility bills, the water if you're paying it on behalf of a tenant, the maintenance costs, the insurance costs, the carrying costs, the interest if you have to carry the property with a loan. These things are very important for you to track. Make certain that you have some type of accounting program that you are tracking all of your expenses in, and that you're not just relying on what your property manager gives you, because the property manager is going to break down the expenses that they pay on your behalf before they give you your rent. What about those expenses you pay directly? You want to make sure you capture both of them. That's why it's important to do your accounting. Operating and maintenance expenses are pretty straightforward. If you spend $5,000 on repairs and $3,000 on maintenance, that's $8,000 off of your taxable income. But I want to make sure you distinguish between a repair and an improvement. A repair is something that only repairs a piece of your property. An improvement is something that extends the life for longer than a year. So for example, if you have a stopped up drain and they have to come in and repair it, that's considered a repair. But they have to come in and repipe it, that is not a repair. That's an improvement because it's going to extend the life of your plumbing. And believe me, IRS is going to look at those things. So distinguish between repairs and improvements. Real estate professional status unlocks massive deductions if you're able to qualify. And I don't mean getting your real estate license and being professional at what it is that you're doing. A real estate professional is somebody that spends more than 50% of their time managing their real estate, and they spend at least 750 hours during material participation. Material participation is where you are managing that property, where you are finding your tenants, and material participation is what I like to say, feet on the street. You have to physically be there to do material participation. If you are in California and your property is in Texas, chances are what you're doing is not material if you're doing it from California. Material participation means you are there in Texas working on your property and nobody else is putting in more hours than you. Being a real estate professional is a game changer, but understanding the rules are mission critical so that you can make sure your deductions stick to your return and the unlikely event that you may be audited. In order to qualify as a real estate professional, you, the individual, are the real estate professional. So as an example, if you invest in real estate with some of your friends and all of you guys are in a multi-member LLC, the LLC is not the real estate professional. The individual has to qualify on their own as the real estate professional. It has to be as to your personal income tax return. So you have to make certain that you are able to meet the requirements and log your hours as the real estate professional. Real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth. Some of the wealthiest people in our country have made their money off of real estate. But understanding how to invest in real estate and how to maximize your tax deductions is mission critical. That is why I wanted to make sure I explained to you about depreciation, cost segregation studies, what you should be writing off as operating expenses and repairs, and knowing the difference between capital expenses versus operating expenses, understanding how to qualify as a real estate professional. All of these things become very important because you do not want to get yourself in a tax slinky, nor do you want to miss out on your deduction. But now that you know better, I want you to go out and invest in real estate. If you already have real estate, I want you to try to qualify to be a real estate professional, but at the very least, I need you to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of this wealth building information. Now go get after it. Looking for real estate tax strategies? Click the link below.